every now and then we all throw or we're invited to some sort of dinner party. And I myself was invited to one such dinner party when I was just 19 years old. And I was asked to bring an entree while others were asked to bring salads or side dishes or desserts or other entrees. I quickly began to think of foods that would make myself look a little more classy or sophisticated than hamburgers or hot dogs. So I did what any teenager would do in this situation, and I called my mother. And I just knew that she would have a recipe that would work, and I knew that she would have exactly what I was looking for. So when I called her up, she said, "What exactly is it that you need?" And I said, "I'm thinking pasta, because pasta's cheap, it's simple. Everybody likes pasta, right?" So she told me her secret fettuccine recipe. And then I added a little Cajun twist to it because I had a Cajun chicken pasta at a restaurant, and it had just enough spice and flavor to keep me interested, but it wasn't overpowering to the dish. So in just a few minutes, you too will have a go-to recipe for dinner parties or just something to kind of shake up your everyday eating habits. Now, before we get started, there's just a few things you're going to need. The first thing you're going to need is a stick of butter. You're going to need a pint of heavy whipping cream. You're going to need Parmesan cheese. I prefer like a block or a wedge because the shredded cheeses have a lot of preservatives in it that give it an overall kind of a weird taste. You're going to need garlic powder or garlic salt. You're going to need pepper. You're going to need a Cajun marinade or a Cajun salt. Or you're going to need, and of course you're going to need chicken, and you're going to need the pasta of your choice. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fettuccine. Now the first thing you want to do is make sure your chicken is thawed. Now I know this sounds really elementary, but I just recommend going out and buying a couple of fresh chicken breasts at your Walmart or your local grocery store. If you do have frozen chicken, it's no big deal. Just a couple of days before you want to serve the dish, you're going to want to put it into like a sealed Tupperware container. Put it in your fridge, let it thaw for a couple of days. It thaws cooler and slower, so it keeps a lot of the nutrients and flavor in. If you're in a rush, you can always weigh it out and throw it in the microwave. The next thing we're going to do is just slice the chicken into strips, like so. Just really thin, really small strips. Then you're going to want to put your thawed chicken into a Cajun marinade or your Cajun salt. Now, if you use a marinade, it's going to need to sit and marinate for about 6 hours. But if you use a salt, it can sit in there for as little as 30 minutes. After the chicken's marinated, you're going to want to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. And while your oven's heating, we're going to get to the fun stuff. Now, you're going to want to get a large pot, and you're going to fill it a little over halfway with water and set it on a burner. And turn the burner on high. Now, while your water's coming to a boil, you're going to want to find a quart-sized pot or a saute pan and place the pot on another burner. And you're going to put your stick of butter in there and turn it on to medium heat. Now, while the butter's melting and the water's boiling, you're going to want to spray a thin layer of no-stick spray. I prefer olive oil spray, but any spray will do. Just place your thawed, marinated chicken onto the cookie sheet in a single layer. Place the chicken in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes or until thoroughly cooked. Now, be careful with undercooked chicken because it contains a lot of bacteria, a lot of nasty stuff that can make you really, really sick. So while you're waiting for your water to boil and your butter to melt, begin grating your Parmesan cheese. Once the water begins boiling, you're going to put the whole package of pasta into the water. Put a few tablespoons of oil into the pasta. While it's boiling, it keeps it from sticking together and clumping. And then you're going to put some salt in there. It kind of gives it kind of a salty flavor. You're going to keep the pasta in the water for about 10 minutes. And while the pasta and the chicken are cooking, we'll start to work on the sauce. In the pan that has the melted butter in it, you're going to add your heavy whipping cream and constantly stir this mixture. You can't stop stirring this mixture. If the cream settle, and you can't let the cream settle to the bottom. Now bring the butter and cream to a soft boil, and it'll start to form a little foam at the top. And at this point, you'll just start adding a pinch of Parmesan cheese at a time into the mixture. Now, you don't want to add all of the Parmesan cheese at once, and you want to keep on stirring while you're adding the cheese. If you add too much cheese at once or you stop stirring, it'll start to settle to the bottom and it'll burn. If you ever need to step away from the sauce, you can just set it off of the hot burner. Once the cheese is added, you're just going to stir for a few more minutes and then add your garlic and pepper to taste. If you like it a little more garlicky, add a little more garlic. If you don't like garlic, don't put any garlic in it. Now, once the chicken is out of the oven and the pasta is drained, all you have to do is serve it. And there are two ways that you can really serve it. The first is that you can mix it all together into one big serving bowl. That way it kind of makes it even and homogeneous and everybody gets the right amount of sauce. Or you can kind of put the sauce to one side in one bowl and put the pasta in another bowl so that your guests can kind of get the kind of cheese that they want and the pasta that they want. Now, if I'm serving this, I typically put it in one serving bowl. It's just easier, less dishes to clean up, And when I present it to the guests, I usually sprinkle a few parsley flakes onto each dish. And there you have it, a simple dish that will convey sophistication and class in a dinner party or just within your home. Thank you.